have a chicken breast, open it up in the middle, stuff whatever you want in there. It doesn't matter to me. It's going to taste good. This is the reverse caramel apple. It's a balloon, and you bite into it because it's the mozzarella, and then you bite into the cheese, and you get the pizza sauce, and it's just a tasty little treat. Because I got to talk about Stephen A. Smith. That sounded way better.
Yeah, number 2 is better.
Yep.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. This is episode 29 of the podcast with the birds chirping in the background because we are outside again today. We are going to come at you guys with a couple things tonight. We're going to talk about stuffed foods, stuffed dishes, and then some creations some people have thought up in their mind. And then everything else is going to be straight NBA Finals preview and wherever else it takes us.
The mainstream media does not want Thunder versus Pacers, guys.
No, they do not.
Nope.
Because as basketball fans, we must be maximizing profits for the billionaire owners.
Obviously.
That is of the utmost importance. Maximizing profits, getting that bottom dollar line, and not highlighting any smaller market
Just wait
teams.
till the reffing next year when they have to double down on what they're paying them.
Exactly.
You're saying no superstar or no movie stars or anything are going to show up to Indiana and sit courtside?
I don't think Timothy Chalamet...
Pat McAfee doesn't count.
Yeah, he's already there. I don't think Timothy Chalamet is going to make the trip to Oklahoma City. I'm not sure he knows where it is.
Kylie Jenner?
Kylie's not going to make it either. I have a sneaking suspicion that will be her last courtside seats.
Props.
For probably a little while. Ben Stiller, probably not going to make the trip. But that's okay because...
Now that we're on the topic for 2 minutes, what other superstars or movie stars or famous people are coming out of those?
You got all the
those
country
areas.
artists going to basketball games or what?
Well, like
In their boots?
Yeah.
It's kind of a weird overlap, but Trae Young is from Oklahoma City. Like, I don't know if he would go to an NBA Finals game.
Maybe.
But he is from...
Well, half the
That
WNBA
city.
team's been showing up. Didn't you see their record when Caitlin shows up?
I was going to say.
No.
Caitlin Clark is
they're
going to all the Pacers games.
Yeah, I think she was.
That's good.
They're like 7-0 when she was there. Or something.
Hey, good for her.
She's probably more famous than anybody else in Indiana.
Probably.
Well, she's got to be like.
Did you
who
see
else
the,
could?
Did you see the ticket prices when she's not playing? Minimum is $41 when she's playing. Now it's $3.
Yep.
Dang.
So you're saying
That's
there's
crazy.
some bargains out there for us. If
Should we-
want to
should-
make the trip to
If you
Indiana.
want
Should
to
we go watch a Fever?
Yeah, they just won a game.
They just won a game.
They just
Hell
won a
yeah.
game.
Guys, the Minnesota Lynx are the best team in the WNBA right now.
Yeah,
Are they really?
Yeah.
Oh, good for them.
We can just make that trip.
that would be a better one.
Sure. And this is where my WNBA knowledge limits out.
That we're done.
Then we're done.
They got the best record.
We tried.
What about stadium food? What stadium do you think has the best food when it comes to
Not Minnesota.
choices?
Um,
I feel like you've been to a lot of ballparks.
not that many. I've really only been to, obviously, the Twins stadiums.
Wrigley's nice because they got deep dish pizza.
I've not been to Wrigley yet.
Oh,
I'm going in a
you're
couple
going.
months, and that'll be a blast. I've been to the Cardinals. That was fine.
Do you think there are any stuffed delicacies at any ballpark?
Ooh. I mean, again we were talking
And
about this.
do we count corn dogs?
Yeah, I was going to say, so corn dogs, I mean, that's a stuffed.
It's getting a little iffy there because, like, if you're gonna count corn dogs, you're almost gonna count like.
That is the thing, because you are taking the hot dog and you're dipping it in the batter.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you're not stuffing.
You're
it.
not taking...
That's why I was gonna say cheese
the
curds could
batter.
even be there or something, and you could make a ridiculous claim of cheese curds are a stuff thing.
I don't know
you
if we
go
need to
that
throw
far.
around the R word like that, but yeah, I understand what you mean.
This, ladies and gentlemen, is our Let's Talk About It question tonight. We're doing stuffed dishes. What pops into your head right away when you think of stuffed dishes?
Stuffed shells.
Stuffed shells?
Yeah.
With ricotta
I mean,
and
that's stuff at
sausage.
first.
and-
My first
yeah,
one was
just-
stuffed green peppers.
Yeah, stuffed
Oh,
peppers.
those are so good.
Sure.
Stuffed peppers.
Absolutely.
Well, things I like egg rolls. We already talked about that earlier too.
But is it
egg rolls?
stuffed? It's wrapped.
No, it's stuffed.
It is stuffed.
It is stuffed.
But the egg roll wrapper is not.
You're stuffing the egg roll wrapper. You're filling the egg roll wrapper.
All right, fair enough. Fair enough.
You wouldn't just have the egg roll wrapper by itself.
You don't want to fry it and then dip it and then.
No,
Okay.
I don't think that's what they were created for. But like A samosa is just an Indian version of an egg roll. I don't know if you've
What's a
had
samosa?
Oh, they're delicious.
Are there?
They're so
Is it
wonderful.
curry based?
No,
No.
no. It's seriously just like a puff pastry filled with stuff.
That sounds good.
So you can have, I mean, honestly, like Hot Pockets and pizza rolls. Like, genuinely, there's a lot, like a bao. I don't know if you had a bao
What's a
bun
bao?
before. Lovely little, or a dumpling.
Oh, a dumpling, yeah.
A
Oh, is the
dumpling,
bao
like
the
those-
ball?
Yes.
Yes, I've
Yeah.
seen them.
Baos can be stuffed with different things. Again, Hot Pockets, pierogies.
Oh man, I lived on Hot Pockets in high
Hot
school.
Pockets are good. It's good stuff.
They would be a bazillion degrees.
The problem is when you're in college. Well, okay, I guess I don't know for you, but like I would always be going quick and just like microwave them.
Yeah.
And then there's always a cold spot on it.
Oh yeah, no, there's always
So annoying.
even when I had time in high school or middle school or whatever it was. Yeah, you're right. I'd
Yeah,
be
you
on
don't
the
throw
go
them in
and
the
like,
oven. You
no,
don't microwave.
always microwave
Well,
that.
you don't have 25 minutes.
You put it in the cardboard.
Even if you do, you're just lazy.
Yeah. Not
You
gonna
put
do
it in the
that.
cardboard box without a plate underneath it, and then your mom gets pissed off because there's just cheese all over the place in the
It's
microwave.
gonna spray.
Yeah, it's gonna spray.
Yeah, it's always gonna spray, folks.
Yeah.
Just when in doubt.
So you would say stuffed shells is your favorite stuffed
I mean,
dish?
yeah, I would probably say that.
Okay.
I'd like that the most. I just made it recently, and it was a banger. I just think stuffed dishes are
Yeah.
for kings and for peasants.
Okay.
There's quite
Okay.
the range.
But no one
There-
in between.
there is a huge
nobody
range.
in between there.
Not the serfs. They
There's
do
a-
not. No, the working class do not get that.
There is
But
a huge range. Before we get into your peasant and kings comment, because I'm very curious, what do we think about Juicy Lucy's?
I'm pro Juicy Lucy. They're from Minnesota.
Pro
Is that
Juicy
for
Lucy.
peasants or for kings?
That's for kings.
That's for kings.
Peasants are not doing that.
What do you think about turduckens?
I think that's an abomination of.
So that's a
our
real
Lord's-
thing. I didn't think it was a real thing. I thought it was
What is
fake.
a
It's a
turducken?
real thing.
Turkey, duck,
Oh, okay.
Chicken
and chicken.
stuffed
Into what?
into the turkey.
Into the
You
turkey.
stuff
okay.
a turkey. No, you stuff,
Stuff
a
a duck with
duck,
the chicken.
chicken.
The chicken duck
Okay,
into
I
the
see, I
turkey.
see.
So turkey.
And then you cook
Thanksgiving,
it forever.
Ooh, stuffing. Your favorite.
I love
one of your
stuffing.
favorite foods over
Yeah.
Thanksgiving.
for peasants and for kings.
Well, okay.
True.
Box
See?
stuffing or homemade stuffing?
Homemade stuffing is better.
Yeah, I would
It's
agree.
Definitely. Well, I guess it depends who probably makes it. But yeah,
Okay.
it's usually better.
Yes.
Hopefully that bird's cooked all the way
But-
through and it's not just dripping salmonella.
For a
on it.
nice cheap box of stuffing,
Well,
the
of
box
course.
one's great.
You get that ready in 5 minutes.
Yep.
If you're sad and lonely, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Put it on the
Lovely.
stove and let it go to town.
So,
Peasants. Guys.
And now I know where I land.
Exactly.
so I thought about this topic the other day. We were just at a rehearsal dinner and there was this dish, and I think Matt, you would like this dish. Did you have the chicken?
I had it, yeah.
It was chicken stuffed with chorizo and cream cheese, and it also had mushrooms.
No, that's the only thing I was upset that I was missing because Danielle had a plate full
The
of mushrooms.
steak, yeah, the steak
We
had
should have
mushrooms.
stole her mushrooms, put it on it. I
And
think
I
the
had
only
to
thing
get
I was
it.
stuffed with was the chorizo and
The cream cheese.
cream cheese. The rest was all describing the rice that it was sitting on, which was like almonds,
Celery.
celery.
It was
Yeah, I don't
crunchy
remember.
rice. They called it
Yes,
crunchy rice.
and it was actually really good.
or a
Sure.
crunch rice. That was really good. It was adobo chicken, and then it had an adobo sauce on the side.
Oh yeah.
Oh,
Oh my goodness.
very nice.
Yeah, it was
Very
it was
classy.
something special.
That's pretty much like. Have you
Is
ever had
that for
like a-
peasant or is that for kings?
That would. Chorizo.
It's gotta be for kings.
Chorizo.
Mm.
I would think it'd be for kings, but
The crunchy rice is a little flamboyant, so I would give it to the kings. on
gosh, that crunchy that
If
crunchy
you
rice
had
was good.
if you had regular like sticky rice or like
Yeah, can you imagine giving a peasant almonds in their rice?
Oh, my God.
How ridiculous.
they-
Throwing the R word around again. I'm sorry,
Yeah,
Matt.
just
Just kidding.
you only get a couple shots at that. All right,
Oh,
before you get corrected. I mean, like you've had like chicken Kiev, right?
Yeah,
Yeah. So I mean, that's
chicken Kiev's good.
it's or chicken cordon bleu, like
Yep.
you know
I love
all those
chicken
types of
cordon
things.
bleu.
Have a chicken breast, open it up in the middle, stuff whatever you want in there. Doesn't matter to me. It's gonna taste good.
Yep.
Put some Laffy Taffy in there. I'll
That
probably
is
try
true.
it.
Laffy Taffy.
Sure.
Have
why
you
not?
Chewing your
ever
chicken for a
heard-
while.
That's for peasants.
Have you
Yeah,
ever
it is.
heard of the Luther burger, where the buns are 2 glazed donuts?
Oh yeah, I didn't know
No.
that's what it was
That's,
called.
that's too fat.
I don't like
As
those.
a fat man, that's too fat.
I think that'd just be too too much. What about a Krispy Kreme sloppy Joe, where you stuff a Krispy
No.
Kreme donut with
Any
sloppy
meat in
Joes?
between donuts is not right. It's too much.
Oh man.
I think
You can have
people
them
are
separately if
I
you
think
need
people are trying to find new ways to get diabetes, and I think it's too much.
And
Well,
this-
at breakfast when we were in Iowa, Michaela got pancakes stuffed with
Cheesecake?
like an omelet and everything for a sandwich. It was like the English muffin type of thing, but
Oh.
like pancakes were the
That's
the
not-
English muffin should have been.
How would that hold together, though? The pancakes would just fall apart.
I mean, you do like a McGriddle.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
those little pancakes.
That is true. Last one, and actually, this is in Scotland. Have you heard of haggis?
Haggis, my boy.
Haggis.
I have heard of haggis, yes.
Haggis.
Yes.
Liver, heart, and lungs.
Yes, sir.
Have you tried
I
it?
don't
No,
know
I've
this.
never tried it.
Someone needs
No.
to tell me what we're talking about here.
It's a stuffed dish in Scotland.
Yeah.
What was it called?
Haggis.
Haggis.
It's,
What's stuffed and what's in it?
It's a sheep puck containing heart, liver, and lungs. Minced onion, oatmeal, suet, which is just fat, isn't it?
Yes, it is.
I will not be trying it.
Spices, salt, mixed with stock, and traditionally encased
Is this
in
like
an
if
animal
you're dying,
stomach
you can try
and
taking
boiled.
a bite of this and it might revive you or something?
It's-
Because
it
that's
is-
all those things that people are
That
like.
is like the national dish of Scotland.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
I would
Ugh.
try it. I think
No.
if you do
No.
anything with minced onion and spices and salt, you put enough of that in there.
Saves everything.
You put enough of that in there, you'll be fine.
Listen, man, I know this is going to get us the explicit warning on the podcast episode, but shut the fuck up, dude. That's disgusting.
Minced onion saves you from the liver taste.
You want to know what? That is for peasants and for kings.
Okay, deal.
That's for both.
Deal.
I don't
So
know.
since
That's
since
for
you're
both,
the since you're the master of all these stuffed dishes,
I am.
Mr. Peasant, Mr. King, give us these odd creations that you have just brewing up top in your dome right now.
I'm glad you asked.
Yeah.
Sharks, I come to you today with some stuffed dishes. Because one quick Google search and you'll realize every culture has their stuffed dishes.
Yep.
So it's really hard to, blaze any new trails. Everybody has a vegetable or a fruit stuffed thing. It's very easy to do this. People have had a lot of time to make these delicious, wonderful dishes.
If something doesn't fall from the ceiling during this pitch, I'm out. Keep going.
Just wait, Mr. Wonderful. I got you. My first one, and I feel very strongly about this one.
Okay.
This is the reverse caramel apple.
You had me at caramel apple.
Okay.
Continue.
You got to hollow out the core or get the nerds at the University of Minnesota to create a hollow apple,
Shout out to the Honeycrisp.
and then you fill that apple with caramel inside.
So that's where I was saying the one with removing the core and filling it does exist.
Yes, I realize that one exists. I'm saying to create a genetically
Yep.
modified apple with no core.
Good call.
Is it that hard?
I couldn't tell you. We're the
Anyone
peasants. I
at
don't
the
know.
University of Minnesota, can you help us with this?
Anyways, look, caramel apples, they're fun. They're delicious.
They are great.
They're a great treat. Two problems. One, you get so sticky and nasty because you're rubbing it all over your face. Two, if the caramel is hard, you're going to chip a tooth.
I really hope they make one of these because I don't believe you can eat it without getting it all over your face.
I can absolutely do it, and I will absolutely show you when the University of Minnesota gets back to me. I've been emailing them for years. Just imagine, you pull that thing out of the fridge, and again, it's dense
Mhm.
because it's fucking loaded with caramel. I'm not saying
You know
only,
how
like,
much
a little bit of
caramel would be in there?
Like, what? Do you take
A
a bite and then leave the
baseball.
whole core basically? Because
You would
don't
have
want
at
that
least
much?
2 inches of caramel up and down.
Well,
Great.
the way he's hollowing out apples, they might as well shrink them too. Just have like a little small apple ball.
Ooh, like a bite
That'd
size.
actually be better. It's basically a caramel
Hey,
No,
skin.
sharks.
This is
Sharks.
his pitch. This
Sharks.
is his pitch.
Sharks, you cannot make your own product. I'm pitching mine.
Well, we're stealing your product and making it better.
You put that
I want
baby in the
100%.
you put that microwave for like a couple seconds, get the caramel nice and ooey gooey, and just take a bite. Who says no?
I still swear he's gonna burn his face.
Sharks. I'm just looking for like $10 million and 5% in my company to be able to develop this with the University of Minnesota.
Wow, 5%.
5%.
That's too steep.
Okay.
Hopefully you brought other things to the pitch. We'll hold off on that one. Do you have
All
any?
right.
Do you have anything else?
I felt pretty good about this one. I felt pretty good about that one.
Actually,
but-
that reminds me of like a hot pocket situation. You'll get the outside warmed up, and then you'll just bite into it, and you'll break your teeth because you won't be able to get through the caramel.
You won't even be able to open your mouth after you bit into that. apple.
These won't be frozen.
It will
mind
get
you.
stuck.
These won't be frozen. All right, next one because I'm getting some weird looks and Barbara's asking me to leave. How about the rich man's tuna? You guys like tuna steaks?
I like tuna.
Yeah, I don't
Do you like
mind
a tuna steak?
Oh, I like tuna steaks more than I like, canned tuna.
Yeah, the regular tuna.
I love regular tuna.
Okay.
I'm not a huge fan, but I'm not against it.
Mark
by any
Cuban
means.
doesn't care about tuna steaks. That's fine. That's fine. But I was trying to figure out, like, could you stuff a fish? And you could do, like, flounder, and you could do crustaceans. Like, you can stuff those. But a nice tuna steak, if you could stuff it somehow, wouldn't that be delicious?
What are we stuffing it with?
Caviar.
Oh, yeah, like a good buttery caviar.
Mm-hmm.
Fish is so delicate, though.
I know, that's
but
what
not
I
a
was thinking.
tuna
Like,
steak.
It is a little. Actually, those things are pretty darn
It's
dense.
a little denser.
yeah, but
And all you have to do, Mark Cuban, I swear to God, you interrupt me again. Let me get through my pitch here. See, the great thing about a tuna steak is you don't have to cook it for a long time. You just have to sear it on both sides. So the caviar on the inside, which you eat cold or room temp, is not going to get hot because it's in the middle. And when you slice your tuna steak, you got little bits of caviar falling out. And it's a little salty treat.
Yeah, I can get behind this one.
You have a little champagne with it.
Mm-hmm.
Rich man's tuna. That's for kings.
I want to see it work.
Now, the piping caviar egg balls into a very tough cut of tuna, that one, the University of Minnesota is also helping me develop. So that one might take a little bit of time. But this one's only $1 million for 25% of my company.
Only? You
That's
jump-
it. That's
jump
it.
5 times higher.
That's it. Look, the caramel apple, we are genetically modifying something, okay? It's going to take years of research.
Oh,
But-
I love it.
This tuna, we don't have to genetically modify them.
Man, if money was no option, yeah, I'd back that. $1 million for 25%.
Okay. Mark Cuban's out. Mr. Wonderful is in.
I'm in.
Okay.
What? I thought you said I was out already.
Well, are you out?
Oh, no.
I don't want to do a
this
deal
one
with him.
Okay.
This one I'm more
Uh-oh.
convinced
This
in.
is-
Yeah,
this is the
no, we got to
problem.
fight for the
This is the
deal.
problem. Okay. All right.
I'm more in on this one.
So, all right. So
I would
last
be
one.
more in your apples if I get a say in how the apples are made. I need a 51% in that.
Oh no, that's gonna be a no. Then can't give that up. Last one is pizza balloon. Now, it is already a thing that you can inflate mozzarella.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I have seen that done.
Yeah.
But what if you could pipe in like a whipped cream, because you can't be that heavy, because again it has to float.
Okay.
In like a whipped cream pizza sauce slurry with sausage and pepperoni and like all that kind of stuff. So you bring it out on a string to the people, and it's like a little appetizer. It's not a meal. You're not gonna eat that much. It's gonna be a goddamn mess when it gets to you too.
I'm
that
very
thing pops,
curious on how
Alright.
curious on how this is going to be eaten.
But it's a balloon, and you bite into it because it's the mozzarella, and then you bite into the cheese, and you get the pizza sauce, and it's just a tasty little treat.
Are we like
You can
in
burn your mouth instantly.
Yeah. Are we living in like Willy Wonka's world where the balloon just stays floating once you bite into it, or does it just pop and get all over you?
No, friend, there's physics involved in this.
Okay.
I haven't got the
University
University
of
of Minnesota on that one yet.
Yeah, the University.
Oh,
of
you
Minnesota.
haven't?
I haven't.
Wow, you've been slacking.
If they could get gravity to stop working,
Man,
that would be very nice. But yeah,
if
pizza
gravity
balloon.
wasn't a thing and we were on the moon, yeah, I could get behind
Are
that.
you telling me you wouldn't be super excited if somebody brought a balloon of mozzarella stuffed with pizza sauce in it? You wouldn't be like,
No,
"My
I love the
God,
idea.
finally."
If you can prove that you can make it, I will invest.
If you can make a pizza balloon with pepperoni, sausage, some mushrooms, and that
Ooh,
comes out to me, yeah, I'm in.
But it has to be like a slurry. Like you're not getting chunks in this thing.
That's fine.
Okay.
I
It
can
does
do
get
it.
a little weirder, but yeah.
I
I mean,
can do
it's
a
like
slurry.
get your 4-meat sauce for your spaghetti or
Exactly.
something.
You know, like-
Exactly.
Right. If you do that and then like you bind it with like some ricotta. And
Is that fluffy enough?
Wow, it's gonna take a lot of shaking.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
It's gonna take a lot of shaking in the container to at least get enough air and sauce into it,
Yeah.
maybe we got a chance.
All right.
So how about 15% for $100,000? We have the technology.
We do.
But this is about franchising. This is about taking the Chuck E. Cheese name. I forgot to mention that. I work for Chuck E. Cheese. We take the Chuck E. Cheese name and we put it back on the map. Pizza balloons.
Pizza balloons at Chuck E. Cheese.
Imagine 35 kids.
I mean, this one's just
around one
100,000.
pizza
If we can already
You
invest
wanna-
in
you
the
wanna-
other ones, we can. This is just a penny to us, pretty
See?
much.
Go 50 a piece. Go 50,000 a piece on this one.
Yeah.
Wow. Barbara is silent, but because she already has a vesting interest in my company. I
Yeah,
forgot to
she
mention
didn't even
that
have to
too.
show up. She's
Yeah,
already
she didn't
paid
have-
for
she
all of
didn't
them.
have to mention that. All right, see. So pizza balloon,
Pizza balloon. I'm in.
rich man's tuna.
Rich man's
Yeah, sure.
tuna. I'm actually
Well, we were
like,
fighting.
Okay.
tempting to try that.
All right, and then the reverse caramel apple.
The reverse caramel apple.
51%.
Oh boy.
All right. If anyone steals these, I'll kill them. So I'm just letting
As soon
you
as
know
you
right
sell me
now.
the 51.
Yeah.
The University of Minnesota is going to come out with a coreless and half-empty Honeycrisp apple next year, and Matt's just going to be like, "Son of a bitch."
I'm going to be like, big fans of the show, huh?
Yeah, exactly.
I'm going to show up on their doorstep. and
Take
threaten
them to court.
You
Oh,
apple
boy.
nerds.
I don't think they'll be having any of these foods at the NBA Finals. I don't think so one bit.
Won't be ready yet.
Could you imagine pizza balloons courtside, though?
Dude.
You take a bite into that thing.
Imagine
it
a
just pops and
imagine
goes all
pizza
over.
balloons up in
Yeah.
the stands.
Hell yeah. Hell yeah. See? Chuck E. Cheese. We're getting back on the map, guys.
All right.
All right.
We're getting back on the map.
All right.
No real fucking transition out of that.
I tried.
You tried.
I really tried.
No,
and
no,
you went straight
no
to
real,
Chuck E.
no
Cheese
real
again.
transition out of that.
Oh my god! So
I
we're
will
gonna
just politely bow my head.
we're just gonna quickly trans into it now that we have some awkward silence in there. Pacers Thunder NBA Finals starts tomorrow.
Very exciting.
First impressions. What do we got? First off, everyone likes the NBA Finals. No matter who's playing in it, NBA Finals, the season's coming to an end. All this complaining, bitching, moaning, everything that we've been talking about, the wrongs, the rights.
You sound like you're just excited for it to be over.
Well, I'm excited
You
to.
do sound like you're wishing it away at the same time of being like, I'm excited for this.
Honestly, I would rather have a whole nother NBA season than have to start diving into Jaden Daniels tapes. I haven't gotten mentally prepared for that yet.
He's just crushing Jaden Daniels tape.
I haven't gotten mentally prepared for that. The only reason I'm excited for it to be over is the bet that we talked about last week
Sure.
when we were on.
We
And
should
if you
start
guys
making
listen,
these bets on the first game of the year.
yeah.
Absolutely.
If you guys listen to that podcast, we had a bourbon wager on the line, and then I think we got off air to talk about it a little bit more.
We worked out the logistics.
I'm taking the Pacers in 7, and I'm going up against Matt and Trevor, and they're taking Oklahoma City in 6.
Yep.
It doesn't matter if
We're
it's.
taking him in 6.
I was. I don't know what you said.
What are you
Oh.
taking them in?
I'll take him in a sweep.
I thought
You're taking him in a
you're
sweep?
sweeping.
I'll take him in a sweep.
So I don't think the bet matters about the sweep or the 6 or the 7. It's just
Okay.
who wins.
Oklahoma City versus Pacers.
Versus Pacers.
All right.
Yeah.
So what the deal is the bourbon has to come from the losing team's state,
Right.
right?
Yes.
So that's what we're going to do. If
So-
I lose
You're going to have to find some Indiana bourbon
Indiana
to
bourbon
give to us.
to gift to my 2 colleagues here,
Mm-hmm.
and if they lose,
No, we don't need to talk about that. It's not going to happen.
It's not going to happen.
when they lose in 7, because Tyrese Halliburton is going to do Halliburton things.
He's not even a conference finals MVP.
He doesn't need to be. He's saving it for the finals. We can get to that in a little bit. Those guys are getting me some bourbon from Oklahoma.
Because you guys know Indiana and Oklahoma are known for their whiskeys.
Just absolutely.
No.
What if there's some like hidden gems that we
Well,
find and we're
we-
just like, my goodness.
we did technically talk about it,
Yes.
that in Indiana, a lot of the whiskey and bourbon is distilled there.
Yeah.
So technically, I mean, you could be looking at like a Weller product. So
True.
there is actually some potential there for you to end up with, or for us to end up with something like fairly decent.
Yeah.
Again,
For
I
you,
have,
you're screwed.
I have not looked into a lot of Oklahoma whiskeys, but
I haven't either.
you know, we'll see.
Yeah, and we agreed on a price range, so we talked about that. But it's a fun little bet.
It's a fun little bit.
So let's jump into the finals.
It's just unfortunate that you're going to have to explain to Danny that you're going to spend that much money on us, but yeah, it's all right.
We will cross that bridge when we get there.
That's right.
If we get there.
That's right.
Or you're going to be talking to your wife, and
Oh,
you have to spend you have to spend more money on someone because
Right, exactly. Or I'm going to lose another bet and have to gift another thing of alcohol to another person. I know.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
What are we looking at in this finals?
I've been pretty steady on this throughout the whole play. I mean, maybe not for the whole year, but throughout the whole playoffs, that I've just felt like the Thunder, this is the beginning of their juggernaut.
Mm-hmm.
This is the beginning of their dynasty.
Their 1-year dynasty.
No.
I don't know about that.
Look, man, they're minus 750
Yeah, no, I'm not.
to win this
Yeah.
series. I know you're on my side here. I know you are, but
What was the number
like-
to sweep that you said? Minus 1,200? No. Plus, it was plus
Well,
1,200.
plus 1,200 was for you.
Yes.
Was for the series to go 7 games and the Pacers win.
Yeah,
Oh.
it was plus 5,000 for the sweep.
Yes, it was plus
For
5,000
the Pacers
For the
sweep.
Pacers to sweep.
For
I can promise you that's not going to happen. There's no way.
it's plus 250 for the Thunder to sweep.
Uh-huh.
It's plus 210 for the Thunder to win 5.
Okay.
I was gonna
6
say
and
you're
7
on-
I'm not too sure.
6 and 7 I think actually goes up because I think it's more likely that the winning team actually wins by more than 2 games or something
Well,
like that.
we were talking about this before you got here, but Vegas is not too confident that the series will go long because they put the over/under at 5.5 games.
Yeah.
So they're pretty much saying
Well,
it's going to go 5.
Yeah.
Which
statistically, that is true. Like the finals usually do end fairly like lopsided.
I mean, it's minus 30 right now to go under 5.5 games. So a majority of people are betting that line versus going
I just
past 5.5.
don't think there's going to be a sweep. And I'm hoping that if there's not
Yeah.
a sweep, the Pacers can just steal 2 games.
I hope there's not a sweep, and I don't think so. I don't think there will be a sweep either.
I think the Pacers will catch fire at least one game, and there's just when they're on fire, I just don't know what you do about it. Like,
Here's what I would say. You're getting some really good odds right now in the Pacers.
Yeah.
So even if you think they have an outsized chance of winning the NBA Finals, just throw down a couple dollars because they're plus 500. And that is something you see in the regular season. You don't see that in NBA Finals. You don't see that. You don't even see that in playoff matchups all that often, except
Yeah.
for when the Celtics were playing the Magic and
Yeah.
the Thunder were playing the Grizzlies. But I mean, just again, we've talked about these teams quite a bit, especially on the last podcast. But OKC was just the best team in the NBA. They had 68 wins. They technically have 80 wins right now.
Yep.
If you want to include all their postseason stuff, I mean, one really common theme that you're going to see between both these teams, they've had incredible injury luck. So there's so many teams that break down when playoffs hit or regular season. This star's missing, that star's missing. The Thunder had 7 guys play 68 or more games this year in an 82-game season. So I'm not even including the playoffs. The Pacers had 9 guys play 65 games or more this year.
Yeah, that's kind
So
of
these two teams, look, this is a factor in all of sports, is that whose team can stay the healthiest is
Yeah.
usually one
especially
that's
this
going to be
playoffs. I mean, we've seen-
one that's going to be around for quite a bit.
Yeah.
And it's been ridiculous. These teams have been also ripping off wins since the All-Star break. The Thunder were 24-4. So if you want to add in the playoffs, they're 36-9 since February. That's absurd.
That's good. That's
but
good.
also the Pacers, even though they were the 4th seed,
Yeah.
and they started off the year 10-15. Since the All-Star break in February, they were 20-9. So you want to add in the playoff stuff, they were 32-13. That's pretty solid. And the Pacers have not lost back-to-back games since early March.
Yeah, that's
and the
nuts.
Pacers beat OKC at home.
And the
Only
Pacers
ones from
beat
the East to
OKC
do it,
at
I
home.
think, if I
They,
remember right.
I-
Oklahoma City has an absurd record at home
they do,
this year.
They do. They've,
Absurd record.
like these teams, very strangely, have a lot in common. I would definitely say, the Pacers' pace, ironically, is kind of their calling card.
That was
Well,
punny.
But they also are pretty great in guarding transition buckets.
Yeah.
Yep.
Flip that. The Thunder are the best team in transition and
Both of
the
us,
best team
basically,
in
yeah.
pace and the best team in defensive rating overall, which means they are also the best against defense in transition. So both of these teams,
the scores to these games, even with the good defense and all that stuff, we can be seeing like 127 plus,
Oh, absolutely.
130 point
Yeah.
games easily.
Yeah.
Like we can see like a 128 to 138 game.
Well, the funny thing is, you could see that one game, and then the next game see like 88 to
yeah.
93 or something.
So I think it just speaks to the fact that all year we've been doing it. I mean, if you listen to anybody else, we've all been kind of pounding Thunder are this amazing team. Thunder are going to be this dynasty. Thunder have an opportunity to do something amazing. SGA is the MVP. Chet is coming along. Jalen Williams looks like an all-pro guy. But the Pacers, just like super sneakily, have been like this incredibly efficient. And I know we talked a lot about it on the last podcast of how the Pacers are very different than like that Knicks team they were playing.
Yes.
All evidence points to that Thibodeau got fired the other day.
Yeah.
But just the Pacers are a good team, and this is not their finals in my mind. But it doesn't mean that they are not going to be a repeating Eastern Conference threat.
Yeah, the problem is their opposite side threat is going to be there every year,
Yes.
possibly at the same time.
Which is the problem for the East, is that it's so bad, it's so down. You're always going to run into the chainsaw of the West. And the West just kills each other.
Well, yeah, there's your hope, is that
Yes.
they beat each other up so bad that you get a win out of it. But like you said, OKC's been staying healthy, looking good, regardless of how tough opponents they're playing.
It's just been an amazing season for the Thunder. I compare to them to the Celtics of last year, where the Celtics were, I mean, historic. The Thunder are not historic in the same sense that the Celtics were last year, where it's like an absolutely insanely efficient shooting team, a team that is not afraid to take threes,
Nope.
and the most harassing, swarming defense that you could ever imagine.
Yeah.
And that's exactly what the Celtics did all of last year, and for whatever reason they lost it when these playoffs came around. It's going to take a lot of analysis to get to the bottom of that one. But this is what the Thunder do. We watched that Timberwolves series pretty closely, and they were just attacking Ant, getting Julius off of his spots. Caruso, who is the reaching king foul king, and never gets called for it because for whatever reason, they're just pesky, and they're fast, and they're young. Guess who the oldest player on the team is?
For the Pacers? No, for
the
Oklahoma
OKC.
City. The youngest player?
The oldest.
So the oldest.
Caruso.
Caruso
Yeah,
is.
he's got to be.
Yeah.
And he's probably not even 30.
What year was he born? 1994.
He was.
Wow.
Yes.
Yeah.
He is
So
the
he's
oldest.
29.
I was going to say Shea's like almost the oldest.
Shea's only,
team.
see,
He's
this is the thing. Shea's only been in the NBA for 6 years. He
I
came
know,
out
and
when
he's
he was
still
19.
almost the oldest
That
on that team.
also-
You got to think about that.
Where did he
That's
come
crazy.
from? Was it France?
Kentucky. He went to school in Kentucky, but he's Canadian.
Yeah.
Okay, there it is.
Yeah.
He came out when he was 19.
Well, one year at Kentucky, then came out.
Yeah, I guess.
So 18, 19,
Yeah,
whatever
yeah,
you want to
yeah.
assign it as.
He's
But
been
like
in the league for 6 years?
6 years.
Wild.
Yeah, and
Okay.
and pretty much half of them with the Clippers
Yep.
until the trade happened, which not going to get into the Paul George funny part of it, but it is kind of
Paul George
hilarious.
finals.
Yep.
I just think the Thunder are going to be able to maintain Halliburton. I know you're holding out hope for him to be this all-star.
I am.
I just think the combination of Lou Dort, Kason Wallace, Alex Caruso, that like 3 roving group
Mm-hmm.
is just going to swarm him to death.
Halliburton?
Halliburton.
I do
Okay.
feel like they have more threats though than like the Timberwolves had, where like
Who
you
picks
swarm
up
Ant
Siakam
and then
then?
what? Like
Yeah, exactly. So you
Yeah.
put Dort on Ant, and he pretty much
you can't
shut him
say
down.
Julius Randle is going to
No.
be the guy to go to. No, that
No.
was horrible.
Siakam's not going to turn off like
No.
Randall did. Who else do they have on that team? I don't think they're playing so well. They're not
Yes,
just going to
it
be
is.
like, "Hey, I'm not going to play
Right.
this game and see what happens." So like, yes, if you shut off Halliburton, he's still going to get his assists. I think he's still going to get his rebounds. You can get up on him because he does kind of have a slow shot, but he can still get his shots off. So it'll be very fascinating to see what they do if Siakam starts hurting him or if someone else starts to contribute more than Halliburton.
I think just the key is Halliburton initiates everything. He's the one that's starting everything that the team is going through.
Oh yeah.
If you have to play through Siakam, I think the Thunder will say, fine, Siakam, you can have your 25 to 30 points a game.
Mm-hmm.
Doesn't matter. As long as Halliburton does not have, 20 points, 8 assists, 5 rebounds, like that kind of stuff, like his usual stat line.
Yeah.
I think they're perfectly comfortable with Siakam going to town on them because they don't give up size, they don't give up strength, Miles Turner and Neesmith has a nagging ankle injury right now. That's not looking
hopefully
great.
he comes back.
Nemhard looked like
Healthy.
crap this entire playoffs except for the last Knicks game. Ben Shepherd looks completely lost. There's a lot of guys on that team that they're going to play.
I mean, they have to like come out with some absurd energy to like.
They-
Hopefully, you
yeah.
can beat OKC in the energy game with more players playing, so that they get tired at some point. But
I mean, if we want to flip it to like what can the Pacers do, I think there's two big things, and it's the two things that I was begging the Timberwolves to do. One, you need to play through SGA. Get him into switches and actually drive down on him on defense. SGA is a decent defender. I'm not saying he is James Harden level of inept in that regard at all. But put him into foul trouble. Put him into serious situations where he's having to get down. Like Neesmith is going downhill.
honestly, anybody
Siakam is
fouling
getting-
on that team
yes.
is great for you. If
Absolutely.
you can get some foul trouble, like Caruso, if you could get him in trouble so he's not playing that annoying
Oh,
defense the
God,
whole
yeah.
time, that'd be great.
But the other part of it is the Thunder have only shot 34% from three this playoffs. That's 12th out of 16 teams. So I was begging for the Timberwolves, protect the paint, protect the mid-range, force them to shoot threes, because that game that was a blowout,
Yeah.
that's what it was. Because
Yeah.
they were chucking threes at the same rate that Timberwolves were. The Timberwolves were making them, the Thunder weren't, and then the Thunder bailed on the entire
Yep.
game after the first quarter happened, whatever. But they're not a good three-point shooting team.
Yep.
Chet is not a good three-point shooter. Jalen is not.
I'd say they're
is
not bad. They're just not to the level of some of these other teams that they're playing. Yeah.
they're not the most efficient three-point shooting team, even in the regular season, by any
Yep.
stretch of the imagination. So if you can push them into that, I mean, the Pacers shot 40% from three this entire playoffs. That's pretty solid.
That's good.
Yeah.
That's-
You'll
that's a
take
pretty solid
40%.
amount.
You'll take 40% any
What
day,
did you
any
say
day of the
OKC
week.
was?
34%.
34.
So I mean, it is a significant difference that OKC is barely hanging on to like the league average of, and this is just playoffs, mind you. But like,
Yeah. And a
There's-
lot of
there's a
those are
real
them hitting
opportunity.
wide open ones because
Right.
of driving and kicking.
so there's
Or
a
second
there's
chance.
a real opportunity for the Pacers to force the ball to the perimeter, go through SGA, and you have to somehow win those transition minutes. Just what you've been doing this entire playoffs against the Bucks, against the Cavs, against the Knicks, and honestly, I know this is not logical and this is not usually how I think, but they seem like they have a horseshoe up their ass. And you got to pray that that thing is still there because they have won absurd games.
Yeah.
Absurd games
3
this postseason.
comebacks that were like, I don't even remember how many
They
points
will
they were
need
in the
that.
last 2 minutes.
They will need that
Yeah.
against the Thunder.
The transition game is going to be interesting too because it's not like these two teams turn over the ball a lot.
No, they do not.
OKC turns the ball over 11 times a game, and the Pacers are at 13 times a game.
They're very efficient.
That's
You
what'll be
said it
so
perfectly
nice.
though. Whoever, and this is one of my X factors later down the road, whoever wins that transition game, points off turnovers or points in transition, along with turnovers, I think ultimately will come out and win this series. Because if you look at it, they're decently matched up. I think OKC has a little bit more star power, but the Pacers averaging 117 points a game, 41 rebounds, 39 assists, 8 steals, 13 turnovers. Like Oklahoma City, like you said, 120 points a game, 44 rebounds, 26 assists, 10 steals, 11 turnovers. So it's very, obviously, they made it to the finals. They're very closely matched. So I think that's going to be a big factor on whoever doesn't turn over the ball is going to ultimately win this series.
Right, so if they get Halliburton into bad situations and he starts chucking that thing around the court, that's going to be the problem.
That's going to be the problem. If he starts jumping, leaving his feet, trying to throw weird cross-court passes because OKC's way too talented and way too long for that,
Yes.
and it's not going
Way,
to
way
fly.
too much.
So
I'm thinking like X Factor wise, since you bring up some of your X Factors here. It's really hard for the Thunder because it seems like they have just a hodgepodge of like X Factors on their team.
Mhm.
Or you do the obvious like Lou Dort. Lou Dort is a first team all defensive player. Is that does he qualify for X Factor? That seems like he's a little overqualified for the slot. But
I would say so. The way he played defense on Ant last series, if he can do that again
but if he can
and
lock
get
down,
away with all his hands, but
Right.
that's a whole nother
if
story.
he can lock down
I
Halliburton
mean, That's all
And
of
then
them, though.
he also
True.
can shoot the three every once in a while.
Yeah.
Not in the Olympics. He was terrible for Team Canada. This will be a wrap.
Yeah.
Everything will be finished very, very soon if
Mhm.
Lou Dort can play that well. The other guy I would say is Hartenstein. I mean, he's made a massive difference in that team.
Yeah, he has.
We said last year when they lost to Dallas, they gave up size. They need size. The ironic Daniel Gafford trade that they helped facilitate between the Wizards and the Mavericks is the reason why the Thunder lost last season, because they didn't have that size. And now Hartenstein, who you can bet him right now to have the most rebounds this playoffs, and
Nice.
it's like plus 300 or plus 400. I would definitely hop on that.
Yeah.
The Pacers are the worst offensive rebounding team in the entire playoffs. They do not get second chance buckets that way.
Still winning games,
Yeah.
though.
They still win games.
Yeah, it's wild.
Absolutely. Now, defensive rebounds, absolutely, they're top tier in the entire NBA for that. But there's a real opportunity that the Pacers don't get any second chance points off of missed shots.
Because they make every shot.
Well, right. So if you make a bunch of shots, it doesn't matter.
exactly.
But yeah, I just think this Thunder team, there's just so many different guys that can do it, man. Like Aaron
Yeah.
Wiggins could come in and shoot like 6 of 10 from 3.
So
and you'd be like, yeah, that makes sense.
who are those next two guys, in your opinion, that are going to score for Oklahoma City? Because the big three, SGA is going to get his points, like you said.
Yep.
The big three are averaging 75 to 80 points a game. Is Hartenstein going to step up? Is Wiggins going to step up? Who is that guy that needs to get those 12 to 15 points a game and be like, okay,
I mean, I really like Kason Wallace. He looks really bad against the Timberwolves though, and he did not play well against Denver. Isaiah Joe is a 3-point specialist.
is he?
There is a very real possibility that he could have 4 threes and a half and be like, damn, that dude has only played 7 minutes.
That's a
and
quick
he
12.
Is, and he is Jason Capono. Huh? That's quite the pull. Anybody remember Jason
No,
Capono?
who's
Yes, I
Jason
do.
Capono?
Come on.
Who's
yes, I do.
Corner 3 guy? Steve
Bring
Novak?
it up to
Do you
Cody.
like
Cody
that
I know
loves
stat?
Steve
that
Novak.
guy.
Steve Novak?
Yeah.
That's Isaiah Joe.
Okay.
He is just a 3-point shooter. I like Kason Wallace. Aaron Wiggins can be fun every once in a while. They brought in Kenrich Williams a few times. Like
I
they
really
just
don't think it's those other guys that are the threat, though. It's the Pacers, unless the Pacers can stop those big three, like
But those,
OKC has to be favored because those big three are better than what the Pacers have.
yeah, and that's what I'm saying. Like, I'm just going based off statistics. The big three are averaging anywhere from 75 to 80
Yeah.
points.
If you can
per
stop,
game.
if you can lower that to like 60 between all three of them,
Well,
then you
even
can
if-
win the series.
But even if you keep those three to their normal, even if they average 90 points a game, those three together,
yeah.
you're still got a really good chance to beat Oklahoma City because of the other weapons on the other side that we haven't even gotten to yet. I'm just curious on someone is going to need to help SGA one of those games, Chet one of those games, Williams. Is it Williams? Yeah.
Yeah.
But I
One
don't
of
think
those
you ever
games.
see those three guys are fairly consistent.
You're right. And
That being
SGA
said,
right now is
also-
going off for 35 a game. So it's like,
But like if Chet doesn't show up, SGA picks up the slack. If SGA doesn't show up, it's very rare that all three of those guys don't show up. Those are the games that they lose, like game 3 of
true.
the
And I don't think
Timberwolves
all of
game.
them will disappear, but I still think there needs to be someone to help out in an NBA final situation with the way the Indiana Pacers are playing right now.
Possibly.
Yeah, I just think there's a hodgepodge of guys for the Thunder that can come in
Yeah.
and get some big buckets. Even like Caruso had big games.
Yeah.
Because we
Like-
left them wide
We
open.
left them wide open. But
In the NBA, you should be able to knock down wide open threes.
you should be able to. Or as my wife says, you should be able to make all of your free throws. But yeah, I think that would
I would agree with her on that.
Lou Dort would probably be. I feel like it's cheating
Lou
a little
Dort?
bit, but I feel like he's kind of my X factor for the Thunder.
All right. I like it.
For the Pacers side of things, again, this is another team that plays so many guys. They play
Yeah.
so many people. So
Yeah.
you have like 10, 11 people
I don't
that you
think
can
it's
choose from.
specific who you need to do good. It's just you can't have anyone do super sloppy.
So I'm,
They've had games where all 8 of their dudes had 15-plus points.
Yeah.
right.
They can do that.
And we saw Neesmith got super hot against the Knicks.
Yeah.
We've seen Halliburton and Siakam and Miles Turner and all these guys like kind of have their moments. I'm looking at Obi Toppin, man.
Okay.
Yeah.
So Obi Toppin, his stats for the playoffs, it's not Not that great. Only averaging 17 minutes, 8 points per game, and 28% from three. But here's the difference, and I do think this will make the difference. On catch and shoot threes, so these are these transition buckets that I was talking about. If you win the transition game, he's 43% from three. So when he's stationary and has to chuck up a shot, it's not looking that great. When everything is in motion and he's behind that three-point arc, he's almost hitting 50% of his threes. That's pretty solid. He's also a big body guy. He can hang on the perimeter, and maybe he can muck some stuff up when he comes in against SGA. So Neesmith, ankle's not feeling the best. Maybe Toppin can come in, play some minutes on SGA, play some minutes on Jalen Williams, like kind of just remain in that perimeter because Siakam and Halliburton can't do that.
Who are they matching up with? Siakam's going to be on Chet, I'm assuming.
Whoever the worst offensive players on the team are, that is who they're going to.
Okay.
On the floor, I mean. That is who it's going to be. So I think.
So you think
Toppin could be fun?
You think Halliburton's going to be guarding Lou Dort? Because he's pretty much out there just to play defense.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, I think Halliburton would have to be on Dort. Like Siakam will probably have to be on Hartenstein, and Miles Turner is going to have to run a Chet.
Okay.
It's not going to be pretty, man.
Yeah, that's going to be wild.
It's not going to be pretty.
I don't know if they're gonna. Yeah,
Or they have to drop into some sort of a zone where they.
That's
can
what I'm thinking more.
really
Is they're gonna
check those
change
guys.
things up a lot.
There's been a lot of zone, and I think we mentioned this already. There's been so much zone during these playoffs, which baffles me.
Because teams are panicking that they can't win the one-to-one matchups, and they're immediately bailing to 2-3 zones.
My goodness, it's a lot.
2-3 zone does not work against three-pointers.
I'm
not a basketball coach, but I know that.
Give me a box and one.
Work.
Give me a box and one. Just
All
follow
right.
SGA around and see what happens.
I mean,
Okay,
some people have done that one with the Warriors.
That is true. Besides Obi Toppin, who else do you have?
I mean, like McConnell, he could get hot. He's fun. You know, he steals the ball. He's kind of like Alex Caruso light, and that's not just a white to white comparison. I really mean that. He's just kind of like frisky, like decent ball handler, streaky shooter. He might hit 5 threes in a game. He might not make a shot in a game, but he will have 3 steals.
Yeah.
And he will distribute the ball when Halliburton needs to go sit down. Like, there's some funness to him. I wish I could say Neesmith, but again, that ankle injury just has me a little bit worried. Because he was pretty limited against the Knicks those last couple of games. Miles Turner, I would love for him to wake up, but I don't see that happening, unfortunately.
He might.
I mean, he played good
He
the
might.
series
See what
for the
happens.
Knicks.
He did fine against the Cavs.
One series.
He did fine against the Cavs, which is pretty impressive against Mobley and Jared Allen. I will give him that. But yeah, there's so many guys. I mean, you could even see a Thomas Bryant sighting, he's played quite a bit, and maybe he hacks Hartenstein and Chet a few times and comes out of the game as a hero or something. Who knows?
What are your 2 biggest keys for the Thunder to win the series?
It's really, really simple, but just keep doing what you're doing, man.
It pretty much is the same thing. What about...
Don't change the defense. Don't change the offense. SGA is going to get you 30 to 35.
What does Indiana have to do? What are your two things that you're telling them in the locker room?
You actually have to win the transition.
Yeah.
You have to force it. You have to beat them. You can't just give them easy shots, and you got to force them to be shooting threes. Long shots.
Yeah, I think Pacers' big thing is you have to make them uncomfortable.
So would a zone be pretty effective against? I think a zone would be pretty effective against OKC then, if they're shooting the way they're shooting, because you prevent SGA. Well, theoretically, you would prevent SGA from attacking and closing up gaps, and then just having them kick out and shoot threes.
That's your problem. Theoretically,
no, that's what I mean. Like
people
theoretically,
haven't been successful with it.
Yeah,
but yeah.
Plus, the court's bigger in the NBA. I get the guys are bigger, but like there's more room on the NBA court. So like a zone just doesn't make sense in my head.
As long as you can make sure that Jalen Williams, Chet, and SGA can't get to elbow shots or the paint.
I mean, at the speed the Pacers
what I would
move,
say.
it could probably work fairly well. But on the same note, at the speed they move, they could be perfectly comfortable playing man and just helping each other out when they need it.
I was going to say
True.
that would be a problem if you're in zone to try to get out into transition versus if you're in man. You will be able to escape a lot faster on those rebounds and everything like that. But if you have 3 guys in the paint and 2 guys that are close to the free throw line elbow areas, it's it's going to be really hard to run back and get past all of those guys that are around the perimeter trying to get in.
True.
So, I mean, it's not unrealistic.
Yeah.
It's not out of the realm of possibility, but
It's a thought.
there's a chance.
It's a thought.
Either way, I made a joke about the NBA is not happy about having these two teams in the finals. I think as basketball fans, we should be.
I am.
And I think we talked about this
Yeah.
on the last podcast too. But like, if you are listening to this podcast, first of all, thank you. If you could reach out to the University of Minnesota for me, I would really appreciate it.
You said you already did.
We're trying to get this reverse caramel apple off
He's
the
been
ground.
doing it for 7 years, I think he said.
Yeah.
I am $3 million in debt for research only. Please help me. Two,
The podcast
if
is
you
not
know
paying for that.
Mr. Hams or Mrs. Hams, please tell them that we're not joking. We will absolutely endorse their product.
100%.
They don't have to pay us.
1,000%.
But it would be nice. And three, like, this is when you should get into basketball. Watching these teams play.
Yeah.
And it might end up as in a sweep, but I guarantee the games won't be bad.
Mm-hmm.
I guarantee they will not be blowouts. Trevor
You
Smiley.
can't make those guarantees.
I don't
think they're gonna be blowouts.
I don't think they
Actually,
should be.
what
I'm
did
just saying
I
a team
said
can
on the
go
last-
cold and like.
I said on the
you
last
just can't stop
podcast.
that.
I said on the last podcast there'll be 2 blowouts, one for each team.
Yeah.
Thinking about it now, hearing what we just talked about, looking at it a little bit more today, I think they're going to be very good up and down basketball games where teams are shooting threes, they're making threes, they're attacking the rim, they're running sets, they're actually playing fundamental basketball that we've talked about, Trevor. Like it's going to be fun to watch and see how that goes.
Yeah, I agree, and I think all the games should be actually close. It's just you can never predict that someone has a bad shooting night or not.
True.
So I'm still taking Thunder in 4.
You're going Thunder in 4. I'm Indiana in 7. I'm not changing my mind.
I probably think that the Thunder are going to win it in 5, but I want it to go 6 so badly at least
Hey,
that like
I want it to go to 7 too.
that I'm going to
More
stick with
basketball.
my OKC in 6.
Okay.
Okay, scene
All right.
6.
I think the Pacers for sure will sneak one out of there, and I think if it's early enough, I think they'll get, especially if they can steal one in OKC in these first 2 games. I think then they're like almost certain to get another one because their confidence level will be.
Yeah. If they can keep their confidence level going and staying hot, they're going to be good. So, whoever wins, Indiana and Tyrese and that team, or Oklahoma City, SGA and all those guys, whose career takes a bigger step forward? Who is that, like, steps up into that next echelon of like, oh, okay, this guy
Who would
is...
benefit more, basically.
Yeah, who's going to benefit
Definitely
more?
Halliburton.
I think
SGA is
But
already at a high enough level that
maybe not even benefit more though. It's just like who's going to gain the confidence to be like, oh, I'm an NBA champ now. All right,
I think
let's go.
SGA is already, his mindset's already there. So like I don't think he needs, like, he wants the championship really bad, I'm sure,
Yeah.
but like it doesn't change how he's going to play this next year.
I mean SGA's MVP.
Yeah.
Like all of this is kind of gravy. Everything is way ahead of schedule for the Thunder.
Yeah.
Yep.
But I mean, I would say Halliburton's a top 10 guy now. So because
Yeah,
of this experience,
and if
it
he
doesn't matter
wins
if they
this,
choke.
well, true, but
Now?
like if he wins this,
Yeah.
it still
Like
does
right
more for
now,
him.
going into the finals, I would agree with you on that. Yes,
I think he's a top 10 guy.
and he
I think-
solidifies
Literally,
that even.
last time you said that though, you take it back. Last time you said that, he had that game where he just disappeared for a while.
Good. Good.
And then
No,
he
I
solidifies that even more if he wins the finals. Because he's winning it. He's winning the finals with a team that
And
They
Siakam will win the MVP. Of the
he will.
finals, too.
They play team basketball. It's like what the heck? Like I'm just not used to this. Like the Celtics last
it's
year,
been
yeah.
so long since we've seen.
It's
good
all
basketball.
ISO ball. Jason Tatum, can he do something? Brown, can he do something? Derek White gets hot and goes off for 40. It's like, what the fuck?
I have enjoyed watching this playoff so much
Yeah.
because it's just nice to see like it's not all centered around one person. Finally, I've been waiting so long for the NBA to go to like Spurs and Warriors basketball.
On a total side note, the TNT guys, some of them are going over to ESPN. I didn't know that. Did you guys know that?
I did. Yeah.
And they're going to do like a hands-off kind of show. They're
Sure.
going to let them do
Sure.
whatever they want.
Yeah, why not?
Very curious.
Does that
Okay.
become the Manning show basically?
They're-
No,
they're-
no. Like
basketball.
I think it's going to be in studio, but it's going to
Oh,
be
so
like,
it's like halftime shows and whatnot. But
yeah, but they're literally they can say whatever they want. They can talk about whatever they want.
ESPN is responding because everybody is very worried that they're going to mess it up because they are going to mess it up. And just say, well, they're just going to transplant the show from TNT to ESPN. And that's just not true.
No.
That's not the way ESPN's commercial breaks work. That's
No.
not how their
Yeah, no.
entire system is built. Just in general, like, yeah, they're gonna fuck it up,
Yeah.
and it's gonna be really disappointing, and then it's just gonna be gone. And
Was
it's
it
been kinda
ESPN
sad.
this last series that were like it's
This
Oh,
obnoxious to watch?
yeah,
horrible.
we were the ones
Okay,
that were
yeah.
complaining about it. Like
Yeah.
it's just
That was
it's
rough.
tough.
No,
It's so tough to watch.
It's been really, really bad, and it's just disappointing that the one like actual institution for like like the NBA tonight, all that kind of stuff is just. I mean, it's just completely gone. There's
Yeah.
no way they're going to be able to replicate.
I remember
Yeah.
watching the game and going, I need to go to the bar so I can't hear it. Like,
Yeah.
I just want to watch the game and not listen to this crap.
Just don't go to Glinner's because they actually play them. They play the.
Yeah, but it's loud enough in there that
You're
you
right.
got.
You're right.
No, go to
other noise.
Glitters.
Yeah.
You want that sponsor?
You're right. Go to Glinner's. No. Like yes. If you don't want to hear the game, we can just tell them to turn it off.
Or
At
just let them
Glinner's.
be on and you just listen to the noise in the background of people.
The thing that I will
talking.
miss the most about it is, because this is also the part of ESPN, is after the game is done, they're going to SportsCenter.
Yeah.
They're not going to let them
No.
vamp at the end.
They're going to
because
Scott
yeah.
Van Pelt.
There's so many times where it'd be like 2:00 in the morning, and I just finished Portland Trail Blazers versus Jazz.
Baby Blazers.
And I'm about like not even Baby Blazers, like just random West
Oh,
Coast
okay,
teams
got you.
that were featured on TNT.
Yeah.
And I'm about to go to bed because the game is over, but then I watch a little bit longer, and it will be like Chuck and Shaq like fist fighting each other,
Yeah.
or like making fun of each other, or like that kind of stuff.
So good.
It won't ever happen. It's
No.
gone.
I think if ESPN gives Shaq and whoever else follows Shaq, because Shaq's going for sure. I don't know who else is going.
They're all going.
They are. Okay.
They're all going.
I think he's just going to be like, screw you guys, we're out. I can see that crew just walking out like mid-season if
they
ESPN
do
tries to
something
control
dumb,
it too
yeah.
much. But that's a whole nother podcast conversation. Tom Tibb, let's touch on it quick. He just got canned.
Yeah.
He just got
Again.
canned again.
Carl Anthony Towns
Yeah.
being fired twice, man. That's
Yes,
tough.
that
That's
is tough. Oh my goodness.
It doesn't make much sense to me. He was with the Knicks for 5 years.
Do you think
This was
he
a
won
good
Coach
year
of the
for
Year
him,
a couple years
too.
ago.
I know.
Like, this year
First-
was great.
This is the first time in 25 years that the Knicks have been in the conference finals,
Of all
and
the,
they
like,
can their coach.
and they fired him after that.
Do you think, before you get into some other stuff, do you think they canned him because the players started talking? I heard some stuff come out today about how ridiculous amount of minutes they play, which it is.
Yeah,
Some of them are
it's-
playing just absurd minutes, and they got a 6-man rotation.
I think likely that is probably the case. That's one of the big factors. But what would any other coach do different? What do you got?
Yeah.
Like, who are you going to put in?
The Tom Thibodeau way of playing basketball, I don't think is championship basketball. So let me just say that as a caveat.
Yep.
However, this is the most successful 5 years of the Knicks of probably our lifetimes, or like I'll call it pre-2000s because we were alive for Ewing and Starks and like that
It's
kind
like
of
the
run and
last
everything
three.
like that.
It's like the last 30 years.
But just in general, like this is like they think it's going to be like replacing Mark Jackson with Steve Kerr in Golden State. They think that.
Good
They
luck.
think that they're like, oh, we are one quality head coach away from getting to winning a championship. And that's just not true because that
Yeah.
never works.
No.
It
I
never
mean,
works.
They could
Rick
accidentally
Carlisle,
make it in. Like
Rick
next year.
Carlisle
Rick
got
Carlisle,
fired
yeah.
from the Pistons, and Larry Brown became the coach, and they won the finals. Great. Okay.
Yeah.
2 examples in all of coaching history have we found this. They just signed Thibodeau to an extension in the offseason. Now they're going to have to pay him out $30 million to get him to leave.
Man.
Why did you sign him to an extension then? And yes, Mikal Bridges was throwing a fit throughout the year of
Is that
not
who it
being
was?
involved
I
in the
couldn't remember
offense.
who it was.
Immediately after they freaking lost, the Athletic had this big story about how people are mad about Cat's defensive abilities.
Well, that's normal.
Let me just say,
you knew what
if
you should have
would
known what you're getting.
called one Timberwolves fan, just one, and would have been like, "What do you think of Cat's defensive ability?" We would have been like,
His
"Well,
what?
It's not present."
If they
It
would've
doesn't
What are you talking
exist."
about?
If they would have somehow stumbled upon this podcast last year,
Oh,
they
I
would have
would've told them all about
they
that.
would have understood
Yes.
what
gotta
you guys were
send
going
them,
through.
Send them our tape.
right?
This is why, like, when I see people like when I saw like Knicks fans like complaining and like like Stan Van Gundy, like questioning why Cat would do those dumb fouls, I would just sit there and nod because I'm like, yeah, been there. Yeah, man.
He's never not done it.
Yeah, dude. I had many years of that where I was like, Carl, how do you have 4 fouls? It's not even the end of the first half, buddy.
You just hit a 3 and you tackled the guy.
Yeah.
Why?
Why did you pick that guy up full court and harass him?
So you made a comment about the Mark Jackson and Steve Kerr situation in Golden State. Is there a coach on the market right now that piques your interest?
No.
That can do this?
No.
Not even
man.
close.
No, there's nobody who is going to be... Okay, so these are like...
Matt wants Doc Rivers.
No. I hate Doc Rivers so much.
Hang on. Steve Nash.
Rivers,
Listen to this. Steve Nash is going to come and coach because he's now on a podcast with LeBron. So LeBron's just going to get him another job.
pass. I saw how it worked for Steve Nash in Brooklyn. It's not going to work here for the Knicks.
Yeah.
Even though I believe Steve Nash actually lives in Brooklyn still, so it might be a good commute for him.
Probably.
But so like Johnny Bryant, who the Suns hired somebody today, one of the Cavs top assistants.
assistant.
So Johnny Bryant is not in the Suns running anymore.
Mm-mm.
Mike Malone, who got fired with like 4 games left in the season. Taylor Jenkins, the Grizzlies coach that got fired with like 10 games left in the season. Jay Wright, the Villanova coach, because he has all those Villanova guys on the Knicks. How about that?
Yeah.
Maybe that's
I've
interesting.
heard rumors.
And Dave Bliss, he's the top assistant in OKC. He coached in New York. He's been in the NBA as an assistant coach for like 13 years. So like those are pretty much the guys. I saw Rick Pitino floated just because he's at St. John's.
Oh, yeah, okay.
Again, we have some proximity coaches here.
Yeah, I love it. So they're really trying to pull from that cookie jar.
They're just saying, hey, who in the boroughs do we have right now?
Gosh.
We are going to pull from every single borough.
Who wants to deal with Cat?
Well, here's the other thing is the trade rumors have already begun for Cat.
I haven't heard
Yeah,
about
I
that
saw
either.
that.
And
Fill me in.
They are circling KD
Yep.
Are they really?
because Cat and Booker are boys. They're friends.
Okay.
And there was always those rumors going around about Booker actually getting traded to the Timberwolves before the Suns went on their little run.
Okay.
And then KD comes to the Knicks, and it's pretty much like a wash salary-wise.
Okay.
Except in the last year of Cat's deal, which is 4 years from now.
4 years from now, yeah.
Is $61 million
Oh, my
a year.
gosh.
So just a little warning for the Phoenix fans out there. I know there's a lot of them listening right now. Shout out to Bull. Yeah, so there's already those rumors being floated that Kevin Durant's getting traded to the Knicks.
Man.
Which I just, buddy, that legacy of yours is getting more and more complicated by the week.
KD?
It's getting real
Oh,
hard.
for sure.
It's getting real hard to be like, yeah, you were one of the best.
Yeah.
Why did you play for 7 teams in 8 years?
Yeah.
9 years. Like it's getting to that point.
I know
Mikhail,
this isn't going to happen, but what does it do for you if he did win with the Knicks?
I feel like that would move him up into some rarefied air, man.
Okay.
I really do. I really do. People can say whatever they want about those Warriors teams. He was the MVP of those finals for a reason.
Easily.
Both times.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because he beat the ever-living shit out of the Cavaliers.
Mhm.
Yes.
And I, like, the revisionist history on that, I know a lot of people are talking about Steph in that regard and to crap on KD, but, like, if KD could go to the Knicks and deliver them a championship, that's
something.
That's a top 12 player all time to me.
Top 12. I like how you threw 12 out there.
Yeah, not 10.
Not 10.
Yeah.
Top 12.
He might be 11.
So you're saying he's 12. I was going to say, you're saying he's 12
he
or
might
11.
Be 12. He might be 12. He might be 11.
Oh, that's good.
But also Mikal Bridges, so he is extension eligible this offseason, but he could just say, no, I'm not going to sign with you, bet on himself for this year, and then move on, which every team in the NBA will throw money at him if he actually hits free agency. It's
And
a
it
real
wouldn't,
chance.
it wouldn't be this upcoming year. It'd be the following.
Right, so he'd
2026, 2027?
Yeah, so he'd play that full season out.
Okay.
Unless they traded him.
Yeah.
Which would be a very high possibility if they know
If they
he's not gonna
decline, yeah.
extend.
Well, yeah, because then you
Want
actually
Randall
get
back?
you would get something from it. You
Listen, a Randall for Mikal Bridges, do it in a heartbeat.
Yep.
We'll throw in a pick.
Yeah, I don't.
That's cool.
We'll
with me.
throw in a
We'll
pick.
throw in a
Say
pick.
yes before I
Hey,
even
you want Dante
blink.
back? Go ahead.
Yeah,
Go
don't care.
with your Villanova boys. Hire Jay Wright. Have the Villanova Wildcats running it back. We got the Pope. He went to Villanova. Let's just run it all back.
man.
We'd love it. We'd all love it.
I love it.
So no, I think the Knicks are in hell, and I think it's just like How can you do so many good things for half of a decade, and then after losing the conference finals, you just decide,
Yeah.
well, we do have some gasoline laying around. What if we just lit that on fire?
But is it
Just see
just
what it
me?
does.
Am I the only one who just loves it though? Just like
It's very
awesome.
entertaining.
It's comical.
It's very,
It
very
is
I
fun.
love New York going down in flames.
And someone asked me, I don't know who it was, who asked me if like, why are you kind of cheering for Indiana? I'm like, I just hate New York. New York just gives me these vibes.
yeah.
But people
the
can say
Pacers
that
are
about
just so
Boston too.
fun,
But
too.
New York,
Yeah, dude,
Yeah,
Boston.
everyone
Yeah,
can say
are
that
you
about
kidding me?
Boston.
New
Yes,
York.
dude.
Well, I'm only a Celtics fan. I don't know. I don't care about the other Boston people, but I'm like, New York is just, ugh. I don't know. I can't
That's
do
how
New
we
York.
feel about both of those.
I can't do New York.
I feel pretty strongly about both of those
Yes,
franchises. but okay.
exactly.
I love it.
Could I get into story time here?
I would
for
love
it.
your story time.
it out.
Your story time on the last pod was a hit.
Thank
Yeah.
So you might need to keep this rolling. So first
This-
off,
this
what time
one's-
were you scrolling at
Well,
when
did
you
call
found
it
this
the
story?
daily news story?
This is the daily- this
Yeah,
is the
so
daily news
it
story.
has to be daily.
It happened
now.
today. It
Oh, it happened today.
It happened
Like you
this
found
morning.
it today, or it
I-
happened?
It happened, and I found it today.
Okay.
He found it
Both
this
things
morning
can
when
be
he
true.
was. I won't go there.
And you guys are not going to think it's as funny as the last one, because I got to talk about Stephen A. Smith.
Oh boy.
Oh.
For this entire year, I have been hearing about how Stephen A. Smith is mulling a run for president in 2028.
Oh boy. Where did you hear
Yeah,
this
where
from?
are you?
Where have I been?
What are
he
you
has
on?
been on he has been on town halls on CNN and Fox News and News Nation. He is becoming more active in the political realm because, and I'm not joking about this at all, there was a poll after the election happened
Okay.
that Stephen A. Smith could be a possible Democratic candidate for president.
You know what I'm excited about? This is our first political take on this podcast.
This is, and I'm gonna be as careful as possible.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
okay?
I don't know if we should
Hey.
I'm gonna be
continue
as
this.
careful as
one.
possible because we are not a political podcast.
What are we?
We're
We're a
not.
sports podcast.
We're a sports
Stephen A.
podcast.
Smith is a sports
He is-
guy.
which gives me the excuse to be able to jump in here.
This fits right in. I love this. Keep going. Sorry.
So
So here, let's go.
all of this, and these have all happened
I missed the party he's
These-
going for. Sorry.
Democrat.
'Kay.
Yeah.
Yes. Even though I think he would do a bang up job as a Republican too. So mind you, this is all in the middle of him signing a $100 million deal with ESPN.
Just this summer, right?
No, this winter.
Oh, yes.
Because this stuff got floated out about him possibly running for president, and ESPN signed him to this massive deal. Okay. So I thought at that time, it's just leverage. Fine. That's cool. Get as much money as you want, Stephen A. It's not taxpayer funded. I don't care. Whatever.
Yeah.
The Disney Corporation wants to give you $100 million to run your mouth and say offensive, horrible shit. Go for it. I do it too. It's okay. But now, so it got announced. He is launching 2 new radio shows on Sirius XM.
Okay.
One is a sports one that he's doing with Mad Dog Chris Russo, who he does First Take with.
Yep.
The other one is politics and pop culture.
Oh, boy.
Why is Stephen A. Smith doing politics talk? If not, to start to arrange and position himself
Yeah.
into an opportunity to actually run for a position of power, maybe not president,
Yeah.
but to enter this realm and to be in the people's consciousness, which I will say is something that Donald Trump has done
Mhm.
over his lifetime. Even his failed presidential runs, he was always positioning himself here
Yeah.
to be like maybe an outsider's chance, the outsider's perspective kind of thing. This is why people are looking at Stephen A. Smith, right? If you vote for Stephen A. Smith, you have the same brain worms that RFK Jr. has. Our Secretary of Health has worms in his brain. I don't know if people know that or not, but he publicly has stated this.
Oh, my God. Parasites.
If you vote for him for anything, county commissioner, senator, president
I'm
of the
guessing
United
he's out in
States,
New York. I'm guessing
He is
that's
in
where
New
he
York.
would be. Yeah.
so he would have to be in New York, whatever.
Yeah. I
Right.
don't know how all that stuff works. That's crazy.
If you vote for him, I think you should not be able to vote.
Do you know how many people,
Honestly,
if he makes it that far, you know how many people will, though? Because they see him
Yes.
all over the place?
Yes.
Yeah.
And look, I will say this. I try not to tip my political hand here, but I understand why people voted for Donald Trump. I understand why people voted for Kamala, Joe Biden, Hillary Clinton, Barack,
Obama, yeah.
Mitt Romney,
All those guys.
George Bush, all of them. I can understand it. I see what people see. If you go on Facebook for 5 minutes, you will understand why each side voted for who they are.
Yeah.
You go to your small hometown page, whatever, to check in with some of the inbreeders that you used to grow up with, you will understand why they voted a certain way.
Yeah.
You get it. There is no logical, tangible reason to support Stephen A. Smith.
No.
Who? And I'm sorry to be an owl in this moment. And this is just a couple things that he has done at ESPN. He has mocked Lamar Odom for his crack addiction. This
I
is
remember
on
that.
his show.
Yeah, I
This is
remember
on
that.
his show. He threatened Kevin Durant on First Take with actual violence.
Yep, I remember that.
With actual violence. There was the entire LeBron feud where he threatened LeBron in person and on air
Which I still don't understand.
over Bronny because
Yeah.
LeBron confronted him about it.
Oh, that's what it was. Okay.
Question the legitimacy of domestic violence claims against Ray Rice, saying that some women provoke it.
Oh, my. Okay.
If there's just too many sexist comments to come up with here,
Yeah.
there's a reason why they don't talk anything female sports related.
Yeah.
If you vote for Stephen A. Smith, if you even entertain the idea, if you even say for a second, I wonder what his stance on the Ukraine-Russian war is, because he did give his stance on it today. He
On
did.
what show?
Oh, on First Take. Yeah.
That's a sports show.
No. He gave his take. He's against Russia, so don't worry, guys.
I kind of want to see what
Don't worry,
where did
guys.
that question come from? But keep going.
Yeah,
Sorry.
no.
But
Weird.
just, if you think you want to know that for 1 single second,
Wow.
you need to be re-examined. You have to be. I'm not saying you need to be lobotomized, but I do think it should be a conversation with your physician.
I was curious about all this.
It's not funny. I'm
It's
not
not.
funny this time around. It's not somebody farting in another person's face, which is hilarious.
That was hilarious. I think you need to go back to doom scrolling Twitter
Oh,
at like
God.
2 a.m.
No.
instead of in the morning when all this stuff
Yeah.
comes out. But last thing before we sign off, when he was on those news outlets during the last election, talking about both sides, in the back of my head, I'm like, first off, why is Stephen A. Smith on here talking politics when he's just been doing sports that whole thing? So now it all makes sense.
Yes.
I didn't know he was starting another show. I didn't know the other show was sports and pop culture or political stuff and pop culture. Man.
This is the one time I will talk politics. I promise everybody. I promise. Next week we are going to get some disgusting ass story for me, or whenever we do the next podcast, it'll be a nasty rancid thing that will happen on the day of. But this is the story that came across my desk, and I had to report on.
That was a magically well said political rant.
Thank you.
Everyone, give a round of applause to Matt. Thank you so much for listening. Episode 29 is in the books. The NBA Finals start today. Like, share, comment, subscribe. Send it out to hams. We really do appreciate all the love and all the comments and all the likes that we're getting. If you want us to talk about anything, or if you have a disgusting story, or a funny story, or a story you see at 4 in the morning when you're doom scrolling and your kid can't sleep, aka Matt, make sure you slide into Matt's DMs. But besides that, we'll see you next time. Peace.